Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today I am showing you how to make a vegetarian toasted tomato and cheese sandwich. So these are the ingredients here that you see in front of you that you will need to make today's recipe. And of course, anything can be changed just to your own personal taste. This is the products that I actually prefer to use. So the first ingredient over here that you're going to need is a little bit of olive oil so that you can spray the pan when you put your tomatoes in to broil them. You will also need some Hellmann's mayo. I use the less fat. You can use whatever kind you want if you want to use Miracle Whip or any other type of sauce. You'll need a cheese grater to grate your cheese. You will also need some salt. I use no salt just because it's a little bit better for you, but it still gives you the taste of salt, but it's not actually salt. I also use just these few spices, and again, you can use whatever kind of spices you prefer to use to your own personal taste. I just use a little bit of garlic salt, some basil, some seasoned salt, and some ground black pepper. Sometimes I also like to use some Italian herb seasoning, but I don't have any of that right now, so I can't use that, unfortunately. So, of course, you'll need your cheese, and again, you can use whatever kind of cheese that you want. I use the Compliments marble cheese, but you can use the just plain marble cheese, or just plain mozzarella cheese or cheddar, or you can also use cheese slices. So again, you'll also need tomato or tomatoes depending on how much you like to put on your sandwich, and then you'll need a knife to cut the tomatoes as well. So you will also need a cheese grater so that you can grate your cheese. This is the grater that I'm using. And then just cut your desired amount of cheese that you need. And you can grate it or you can slice it. You can use the cheese slices, as I said before. It just all depends on your personal preference. I personally like to have the grated cheese because then once the tomatoes are nice and hot, the cheese just kind of melts right into the sandwich and kind of holds it all together for you so that it doesn't fall apart and is a huge mess. But this is my personal preference. Again, whichever way you choose to do it, you can change this up and do it whichever way you like to do it as well. So then once you're done grating the cheese, it just looks something like that, and you can just set that aside, and then you can begin to go ahead and cut your tomatoes. So it depends. Sometimes you might like more than one tomato, or you might like just one. Again, it all depends on how you like it. So I just go ahead and I tend to kind of slice them just like this. And then once I'm done slicing them, I just kind of go ahead and cut them again in half and kind of make them into little cubes. Just like this. So again, keep slicing until you get the amount of tomatoes that you want. I don't like the center part, so I always cut them out and put them aside. I just kind of find they're too hard or something. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but this is how I like it. So just still cutting them up here. I think I'm just going to be needing the one tomato today. So then once you're done with that, you're going to take your pan. Now, you can use any type of pan you want. I just use this, it's like a muffin pan, and then take your olive oil, and then what I do is I just spray some olive oil in there like that. And then I just go ahead and I pick up all the tomatoes and I just kind of put them in there like that. And make sure you get them all. So then once I have the tomatoes in there, I just kind of mix them around a little bit. And then this is where you're going to take your seasonings. Now, I only use the 2 seasonings, but you can use whatever type of seasoning you like. So again, I just like to use a little bit of no salt. It's actually, it tastes like salt, but it's not salt, so it's a little bit healthier for you. And then I just use a little bit of seasoned salt like that. Now sometimes I use Italian spices or basil. I actually have a little bit of basil here. I might go ahead and put some of that on there, so it just adds a little more flavor. So just sprinkle a little bit of basil on there, and then I just go ahead and take my knife and just kind of mix them around. So then they look something like that. So just to give you a little bit of a closer view there, that's what that looks like. Alright, so this is the type of oven that I do. So how I always like to put my tomatoes in the oven, I have a broil button. Some people may not have the broil button on their oven. You could also bake them, or you could put them in a toaster oven, but I just press broil, and turn it on high, and you hit it again so that it turns on. So then you just have to wait for the oven to kind of heat up, and then it will beep and it will let you know when it's ready. So I will be back when the oven is heated up, and we'll go from there. Okay guys, so next step now is to take your tomatoes and put them in the oven so we can broil them. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up my oven here, and I'm going to pop those in the oven for probably, I would say, about 5 minutes or so, and then we will be back to show you the rest. So the next step is to toast your bread. So like I said, I'm using the Ben's extra soft, and it's the square bread. It looks something sort of like that. So you just go ahead and pop it in your toaster, and then you just wait for it. You can also use your toaster oven if you have a toaster oven instead of a toaster, but this is what I choose to do. I find it a little bit quicker. So you just wait for your toast to pop, usually about 3 to 4 minutes or so. Alright, so the tomatoes are pretty much done now, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to stop our oven, and we are going to open it up. You can see them sizzling in there, and you can probably hear them. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to put an oven mitt on, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to take them out. And I just lay them on top of the stove. So when they're finished, they should look something like that. Just a little bit cooked, not too cooked, but they're nice and warm and nice and seasoned. So we're just waiting for the toast to finish. It should be done any minute now. Alright, so your toast is done, so it should look something like this. And I should mention that you don't have to necessarily use toast if you don't like toast. Some people don't like toast. Some people might prefer a bagel, or you can use like any sort of bun, anything that's to your preference. You can always change this up a little bit. So then we're going to take our Hellmann's mayo, and we're just going to squeeze a little bit on both sides of the buns, probably just about that much there. And then you're just going to take a butter knife here, and you're just going to spread that around just like that. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do the same thing on the other side here. So just enough to taste. It's probably about, I would say, probably about a tablespoon that I use. And in 1 tablespoon with this particular type of mayo, there is only 40 calories, 4 grams of fat, 135 milligrams of sodium, 1 carb, no sugar. So it's not too bad for you, but it's better than regular mayo. So then next what we're going to do is we're just going to take our tomatoes, and we're going to put them on top of the toast. So I sometimes, actually what I like to do is just take a little bit of the cheese and just kind of put some on top of the toast, just so that when the tomatoes lay on top of it, it kind of melts the cheese a little bit. So then we're just going to take our tomatoes, and we're just going to put them right on top, just like that. So it looks something like that. And just pick up any ones that fall off. So it should look something like that, and then you can just go ahead and take some more cheese and put that on top. You can put as much as you'd like on. Again, you just have to do this to your own taste, okay? So then you're just going to take the top, you're just going to kind of squish that down, and then you're going to want to take your knife and cut that in half. So when you pull it apart, it should look something like that. So very delicious. It's vegetarian, it's low fat, so it is relatively healthy for you. So if you would like to see more videos like this, give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more videos, please go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.